Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Psalm 23 is one of the most beloved and comforting passages in the Bible. It describes the Lord as a shepherd who lovingly guides, provides, protects, and comforts his people. Using beautiful imagery of peaceful pastures and safe, restful waters. Even in the darkest times, the valley of the shadow of death, there is no fear because God is present, offering his constant protection and guidance. Verse 1. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The psalm opens with a powerful metaphor of God as a shepherd and the believer as his sheep. Shepherds in biblical times had an intimate, caring relationship with their flock. They provided food, protection, and guidance. By calling God his shepherd, David is expressing his complete trust in God's provision. I shall not want means that in God there is no lack. All needs, spiritual, emotional, and physical, are met. Verse 2. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. The imagery of green pastures and still waters evokes a sense of peace, abundance, and rest. In the life of a shepherd, green pastures were essential for the sheep's nourishment, while still waters were safe places for them to drink. This verse reflects the peace and rest God provides. The still waters symbolize calmness, offering a picture of tranquility in God's presence. Verse 3. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. He restores my soul suggests healing and renewal. Life can be exhausting, but God has the power to refresh and restore. The paths of righteousness are the right and just ways of living. God not only restores us, but guides us toward a life of holiness and moral integrity. This is all done for his name's sake, meaning it reflects God's glory and character. Verse 4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. The valley of the shadow of death symbolizes the most difficult, dangerous, and fearful situations in life. Yet, David declares that even in those moments he will not fear. Why? Because God's presence provides comfort and security. The rod and staff are tools of a shepherd. The rod was used to defend the sheep from predators, and the staff was used to guide and rescue them. Together, they symbolize God's protection and guidance. Verse 5. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runs over. The image shifts from a shepherd to a host preparing a banquet. God provides for us abundantly, even in the presence of enemies. This is a picture of divine provision and blessing, where we are honored and cared for despite opposition. Anointing the head with oil was a sign of blessing, hospitality, and favor in the ancient Near East. The overflowing cup symbolizes abundant blessings. God's provision is not just sufficient, it is overflowing. Verse 6. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The psalm concludes with a confident statement of God's continued care. Goodness and mercy are not momentary gifts but follow us for the rest of our lives. dwelling in the house of the Lord forever, speaks to an eternal relationship with God. For David, it was a promise of continual fellowship with God, both in this life and the life to come. Reflection. Psalm 23 is a poetic reminder of God's faithful care over His people. Whether we are in times of rest and peace, green pastures and still waters, or times of deep trial, the valley of the shadow of death, God is ever present. His provision, protection, and guidance are constant. David's trust in God is not limited to earthly needs, but extends to eternal life, emphasizing that those who trust in God will experience His goodness and mercy forever. Psalm 91. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him I will trust. Surely He shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the perilous pestilence. He shall cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you shall take refuge. His truth shall be your shield and buckler. You shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flies by day, nor of the pestilence that walks in darkness, nor of the destruction that lays waste at noonday. 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. Only with your eyes shall you look, and see the reward of the wicked. Because you have made the Lord, who is my refuge, even the Most High, your dwelling place, no evil shall befall you, nor shall any plague come near your dwelling. For He shall give His angels charge over you, to keep you in all your ways. In their hands they shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. You shall tread upon the lion and the cobra, the young lion and the serpent you shall trample underfoot. Because He has set His love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. Reflection. Psalm 91 is often regarded as a powerful prayer of protection and trust in God's care. It portrays God as a divine protector who shields His people from danger, whether seen or unseen, including traps, disease, and violence. The psalmist expresses total confidence in God's ability to protect from all harm. Verses 1-2 depict the safety found by those who trust in God and live in close fellowship with Him. Verses 3-8 promise divine protection from all dangers, both natural and supernatural. No harm, no matter how overwhelming, will befall the believer who takes refuge in God. Verses 9-13 illustrate God's commitment to keeping His faithful safe from harm through His angels who are tasked with guarding them. Verses 14-16 close with a personal promise from God, affirming that He will deliver, honor, and give a long, satisfying life to those who love Him and call upon Him. It's a psalm that has offered comfort to many through the centuries, often recited in times of crisis, reminding believers of God's steadfast presence and power to save. Psalm 121. I will lift up my eyes to the hills, from whence comes my help. My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not allow your foot to be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, He who keeps Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve you from all evil. He shall preserve your soul. The Lord shall preserve your going out and your coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Reflection. Psalm 121 is a song of confidence and trust in God's protection. It's often referred to as a pilgrim's song, part of the Psalms of Ascents, Psalms 120 to 134, that the Israelites would sing as they traveled to Jerusalem for worship. Verses 1 to 2. The psalmist begins by looking to the hills, likely referencing Jerusalem's mountains, asking where help will come from. The immediate answer follows: help comes from the Lord, the Creator of heaven and earth. This emphasizes the vastness of God's power, as the one who made the entire universe is the source of our help. Verses 3 to 4. These verses assure that God, the keeper of his people, is always watching over them. Unlike humans who tire and sleep, God is eternally vigilant and never slumbers. This continuous watchfulness offers reassurance that God's protection never wavers. Verses 5 to 6. God is described as a personal protector, your shade at your right hand, guarding against the harsh elements, symbolized here by the sun and moon. This imagery represents God's encompassing protection from any danger, whether physical or spiritual, by day or by night. Verses 7 to 8. The psalmist concludes with a promise that the Lord will preserve and guard his people from all evil. God's protection extends over every aspect of life. You're going out and you're coming in, from now and forevermore, offering an eternal sense of safety and peace. Psalm 121 is a beautiful reminder of God's constant care. Whether in times of travel, trouble, or simply navigating the challenges of daily life, this psalm reassures us that God is our vigilant protector, always present and always faithful. Psalm 121 is a beautiful reminder of God's constant care. Whether in times of travel, trouble, or simply navigating the challenges of daily life, this psalm reassures us that God is our vigilant protector, always present and always faithful. Psalm 34. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. My soul shall make its boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear of it and be glad. O magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together. I sought the Lord, and he heard me, and delivered me from all my fears. They looked to him and were radiant, and their faces were not ashamed. This poor man cried out, and the Lord heard him, and saved him out of all his troubles. The angel of the Lord encamps all around those who fear him, and delivers them. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who trusts in him. O fear the Lord, you his saints. There is no want to those who fear him. The young lions lack and suffer hunger, but those who seek the Lord shall not lack any good thing. Come, you children, listen to me. I will teach you the fear of the Lord. Who is the man who desires life and loves many days, that he may see good? Keep your tongue from evil, and your lips from speaking deceit. Depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. The eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are open to their cry. The face of the Lord is against those who do evil, to cut off the remembrance of them from the earth. The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears, and delivers them out of all their troubles. The Lord is near to those who have a broken heart, and saves such as have a contrite spirit. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him out of them all. He guards all his bones, not one of them is broken. Evil shall slay the wicked, and those who hate the righteous shall be condemned. The Lord redeems the soul of his servants, and none of those who trust in him shall be condemned. Reflection. Psalm 34 is a psalm of thanksgiving and praise by David, expressing his gratitude for God's deliverance and teaching others about the blessings that come from trusting in the Lord. It reflects David's experience of God's protection during his time of danger and his desire to encourage others to seek the Lord. Verses 1 to 3. David begins by committing to bless and praise the Lord continually. He invites others to join him in magnifying God's name and exalting him together. This is a call to communal worship. Verses 4 to 7. David recounts his personal testimony of how God answered his prayers and delivered him from his fears. He encourages others by showing that when they look to God, they are made radiant with joy without shame. He also describes the angel of the Lord encamping around those who fear God, providing divine protection. Verses 8 to 10. David invites others to taste and see that the Lord is good. He assures them that those who trust in God will be blessed, and those who seek him will not lack anything. Even though the strongest creatures like lions may hunger, those who fear the Lord will always be provided for. Verses 11-14. David shifts to a teaching mode, urging people to listen and learn about the fear of the Lord. He emphasizes that a good and long life comes from speaking no evil, avoiding deceit, turning away from wrongdoing, doing good, and seeking peace. Verses 15 to 16. The Lord watches over the righteous, listening to their cries for help, but he is opposed to evildoers, ensuring that their remembrance will be cut off from the earth. This contrast highlights the fate of the righteous versus the wicked. Verses 17 to 18. God is near to the brokenhearted and those with a contrite spirit, offering comfort and deliverance. These verses bring great encouragement to those in pain, reminding them of God's compassion and closeness in times of trouble. Verses 19 to 22. Though the righteous may experience many afflictions, the Lord will deliver them from all. David assures his readers that God protects his people, even to the point of ensuring that not one of their bones is broken. A promise of complete care. The wicked, on the other hand, will be slain by their own evil, while those who trust in the Lord will be redeemed and never condemned. Psalm 34 is a beautiful reminder of God's faithfulness, protection, and provision. David's personal testimony of deliverance invites others to trust in the Lord, knowing that he hears the cries of the righteous and rescues them from trouble. It's a psalm of hope for anyone facing difficulty, encouraging us to seek God, trust in his goodness, and pursue righteousness in all things. Psalm 40. I waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined to me and heard my cry. He also brought me up out of a horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock, and established my steps. He has put a new song in my mouth. Praise to our God. Many will see it and fear, and will trust in the Lord. Blessed is that man who makes the Lord his trust, and does not respect the proud, nor such as turn aside to lies. Many, O Lord my God, are your wonderful works which you have done, and your thoughts toward us cannot be recounted to you in order. If I would declare and speak of them, they are more than can be numbered. Sacrifice and offering you did not desire, my ears you have opened. Burnt offering and sin offering you did not require. Then I said, Behold, I come. In the scroll of the book it is written of me. I delight to do your will, O my God, and your law is within my heart. I have proclaimed the good news of righteousness in the great assembly. Indeed, I do not restrain my lips, O Lord. You yourself know. I have not hidden your righteousness within my heart. I have declared your faithfulness and your salvation. I have not concealed your loving kindness and your truth from the great assembly. Do not withhold your tender mercies from me, O Lord. Let your loving kindness and your truth continually preserve me. For innumerable evils have surrounded me, my iniquities have overtaken me, so that I am not able to look up. They are more than the hairs of my head, therefore my heart fails me. Be pleased, O Lord, to deliver me. O Lord, make haste to help me. Let them be ashamed and brought to mutual confusion, who seek to destroy my life. Let them be driven backward and brought to dishonor, who wish me evil. Let them be confounded because of their shame, who say to me, Aha, aha. Let all those who seek you rejoice and be glad in you. Let such as love your salvation say continually, The Lord be magnified. But I am poor and needy, yet the Lord thinks upon me. You are my help and my deliverer. Do not delay, O my God. Reflection. Psalm 40 is a beautiful mixture of praise, thanksgiving, and a heartfelt plea for help. It expresses David's profound trust in God's past deliverance and his confidence in future rescue, while also conveying his reliance on God's mercy. Verses 1-3. David opens by recalling how God heard his cry and rescued him from a place of despair, a horrible pit. God lifted him up, gave him stability, and filled him with a new song of praise. This deliverance leads others to trust in the Lord. Verses 4-5. David acknowledges that the person who trusts in God is blessed. He reflects on God's countless wonderful works and his thoughts toward his people, which are beyond measure. Verses 6-8. David highlights that God desires obedience more than sacrifices. Instead of external offerings, God seeks a heart that delights in doing his will, which David declares is written in his heart. Verses 9-10. David declares his commitment to sharing God's righteousness, faithfulness, and salvation with others. He does not keep God's truth and loving kindness to himself, but proclaims it openly to the congregation. Verses 11-12. David shifts to a plea for God's mercy and protection. He recognizes that he is surrounded by evils and weighed down by his own iniquities, which overwhelm him. He asks God not to withhold his tender mercies. Verses 13-15. David prays for God to deliver him quickly and to bring shame and confusion upon those who seek to harm him. He asks for their plans to be thwarted, hoping that they are disgraced for their malicious intent. Verses 16-17. The psalm ends with a call for those who seek the Lord to rejoice and be glad in him. David declares that despite his own poverty and need, the Lord is mindful of him and is his help and deliverer. Psalm 40 offers a profound reflection on God's deliverance and faithfulness. It teaches us the importance of patient trust in God's timing, the joy of proclaiming his goodness, and the humility of acknowledging our need for his continued mercy. David's words are a powerful reminder that God is both our past deliverer and our present help in times of need.